And away we go.
You're listening to Live on Four Legs, the live Pearl Jam podcast experience, featuring
Mr. Stone Gossard. Fucking Cameron in the drum. Mr. Boom Gasper. You can call me Al, you can call me Ed, you just fucking call me, why don't you?
Hello and happy holidays, everybody. Welcome to Live on Four Legs, the live Pearl Jam podcast experience. We're doing something a little bit different today. We are covering the infamous New Hampshire show, followed by the infamous Alaska show, followed by the infamous West Virginia show. If you haven't picked up on what I'm doing right now, I'm naming all states that they've never played before.
You know what, Randy? I think what we're doing here is maybe trying to make a set for what we hope might get played at, say, a Citi Field show.
Okay. Now you're on to something. Yes. If you've been following along for the last few weeks, we've been mentioning this on our show, that this is going to be an unconventional week where you're not covering a show like we have in the past 15 episodes. We are going to do something a little bit different since it's the holidays, and
yeah, we're putting a little twist on a set rundown. Yeah,
it's almost like we're giving you a Christmas present of some sort, our wish list, if you will. This is what we wish to hear live, not just, we're going to basically play the role of the band here, and we are going to pick out the songs and kind of see where things place. We have ideas that we put together. I have a big spreadsheet of songs and where I think they could work and where I think they could go, and Matt, you have a similar thing with a playlist, but we're going to collaborate on this and see what could make the best set list, not for us to be happy. We want everybody to be happy. We want this to be a listenable list for people to say, oh, you know what? Okay, I could listen to that and be excited or happy about that.
Exactly. So we're taking everyone into account. This isn't just our own personal idea. And by the way, Randy and I really don't know what each other are going to be throwing out here. It might be very
small
similar.
Idea.
Yeah. It might be very different, but we also want to make this possible. We want to make it so it seems like this is something that could actually happen.
Yeah, it's not, we're not going to say no Even Flow, no Live, no Jeremy, no Better Man, that kind of things. Not every one of those songs is going to get added to this list, but it's not going to be like Dirty Frank and Sweet Lou and Evil Little Goat, Just a Girl. It's not going to be all these songs that are these ultra rare songs just so you can knock them off your bucket list or your checklist or whatever. This is going to be a set that anybody can go to a Pearl Jam show and enjoy. Just as if the band would do it, but with our own little twist.
We are going to make sure that we put Rockin' in the Free World on twice, right? They're going to do it 2 times in our set.
I wanna rock in the free world all night and part of every night.
So we just did callbacks to 2 different episodes.
Might have been the same episode. Who knows at this point? We've done so much.
We're trying to wrap up season 1 here. 16 episodes.
Yeah.
Can you? That went fast. That
it did.
Way too. I almost can't remember recording 16 episodes, to be honest. I go like week to week with this.
I know, and the weird part is, like, I think the first 7 or 8 episodes do feel like a millennium ago. Especially those Fenway ones that we did really early on.
I know.
If you're a new listener, I suggest you just start off with episode 4, which was the Amsterdam episode. That's really where we figured it out and got into form, which is pretty good. It's pretty early on to figure that all out, but
yeah, we were fresh little baby boys to the podcasting world.
yeah, we just needed to find our legs, but we were, man. I'm. Some people still get back to us and say that first Fenway episode was rough. That we were very condition critical out there, but
hey, you know what? They gave us a show to be critical on, so
they did, and that's not our fault.
Don't blame us.
But I'm just saying, we that was the response that we for our first show we were kind of cast off as this negative podcast, which did not turn out to be true if you've listened to the next 15 episodes. So
that was just the hand we were dealt. Unfortunately, it was bad timing, but
look at what we've kind of turned into since then. We've done at least 3 or 4 extremely popular shows in their repertoire. I would say the Amsterdam show was one that fans really hold in high regard. The closing of the Spectrum show, that's a long episode, but I think that one was one of my favorites of the season. Atlanta, Moline last week.
Yeah, Moline from last week. I think it's possible too, from the first episode, it being so critical. Yep. It might have come off that we had no plan in store, but we obviously had a plan, and we obviously had these very positive, popular shows that we were going to speak very highly on coming up. We knew what we were going to be doing, so thank you for sticking it out, and we apologize for episode 1, but we got there.
Yeah, and you know what? I think this whole thing is a learning process. We're going to go into 2019. We're going to have a whole different mindset about how we pick our shows and how we kind of collaborate on things. So we're always open to those ideas, and I think 2019 is going to be a really good year for us. We're going to really try to get in more of those big shows. Obviously, we've mentioned a billion times that we're doing every single MSG show, so that'll
be the theme.
That is a theme, once a month, and then kind of filling in when time goes by. But we got to think about things like, are we going to do Mansfield this year? Are we going to do PJ20 this year? That's stuff that we don't know yet. If that's going to happen, we would like for it to happen, but it has to be the right time. All this stuff has to come with timing. Whether it be an anniversary or it be, we just found a flow where we're putting together a string of really, really good episodes, and we think we're ready to cover it. Those episodes will get done at some point, but for right now, we have to hit some of the big Riot Act shows. We have to hit some of the No Code and the Yield Tour shows, and we're gonna really, from about the No Code through Avocado Tour era, that 10-year span will be a lot of the next 2 months. So if you were really getting into the band at that point, I think you're going to enjoy what we have coming in store, which honestly we don't have a lot of ideas for yet. So again,
no. But I
recommendations.
I think a lot of people were getting into the band at that point. I think that's going to be a very popular era.
I agree, especially Riot Act. I think the Riot Act tour is really held in such high regard. There were so many just really good shows. I always take the Riot Act era as being the moment in time where Pearl Jam became known for its live act. Where
that's where they became more of a.
They were known as a legacy band at that point, I think.
Right. This became more of a what's the word I'm looking for here, Randy?
A spectacle?
More of like a spectacle, more of like an event to go see. It was, yeah, definitely. And I think,
especially following them around too. I think.
Sure, yeah.
Once you figured out that Mansfield they weren't gonna repeat a single song in Mansfield, then that's, I think, when people really figured out, okay, anything can happen here. we should go see them
Right.
every single night if we have to.
Yeah, and I think we're included in that era too. So I think we're gonna have a lot of fun
Yeah,
covering
yeah,
those
I
shows.
do have memories from that era. Especially starting in about 2006 is really when I juiced up on my Pearl Jam. But you know, that's all going to be fun stuff. But really, before we get into the wish list, I just real quick want to thank everybody for your participation in donating to the Toys for Tots fund that we did. It went really, really, really well.
It did.
Uh, if you saw the videos and the pictures that we put up from Target, we ran through Target and we were like, how about this? How about this? We realized how much we don't know about kids these days. That's for sure.
Yeah, we've been out of the toy playing with toys game for a long
Just
time, and
just
we
a
just don't.
collecting game.
Yeah, hey, we know what we like, but we have no idea what's popular now. So we
Yeah.
saw what other people were scooping up or what was flying off the shelves really fast, and that's what we got.
Yep, and we raised $300 worth of Toys for Tots funds, and you know what? It felt pretty good walking into the library where the Toys for Tots station was. The librarian looked at us and she was like, "Oh my goodness, you're gonna make some kids really happy."
Yeah, I don't think she was expecting us to walk in
No.
both hands full of bags
No,
filled with
maybe
toys.
like a teddy bear or two, but no, this was
No,
they were-
no, we go all the way when we do this.
some days we go all the way. Yeah, some days we go all the way. So again, it was a humbling experience, and it's something that I was we were both very, very fortunate to do, and I think you know let's do it again next year. We'll do a different shirt design. We'll do different fundraising options, but make it a tradition. Why not? It worked, so
Right, and as some of you saw in your packages with your Christmas sweaters, we were able to give away some leftover home away show merchandise. So we hope you're enjoying that. And for our Patreon listeners who had donated to our goal, we were able to get your mini packages out. So we hope you're enjoying those too. And
indeed.
yeah, we're going to get to work on the t-shirts that we owe the highest level donors. So
Yes.
those will be going out next year, and then we'll be all caught up, and we'll be good to go into season 2.
Yeah, and keep in mind our Patreon is still open. We're doing monthly donations, so and we're also going to start doing exclusive content on Patreon now since we have the ability to. So
Yeah, Randy, I wanted to say we have a plan to release a Patreon only episode. It'll be a short, maybe half-hour episode. We're not going to give away what it's going to be right now because there's no surprises in that. And we want the people that are donating to have a nice little surprise. And if you really enjoy the show and you want to know what the Patreon only episode is going to be,
will
donate
be revealed.
donate $1 or whatever you could spare, and,
Yep.
and there you go. You're going to start getting your own exclusive content
Right.
on there.
Right. No donation goes without being rewarded. We believe in giving back to you guys because we know how everybody works hard for the money. So, we do too. And we appreciate that you guys want to put it into a podcast that just talks about Pearl Jam, that there's way more important things out there than to do that. So, for that, we want to give back a little bit to you guys as well. So, an episode here and there every couple of months that you can get exclusively is really not too bad of a deal for a couple dollars a month if you can spare it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Without further ado, we have no stories or lead-ins to this. This is a sheet of empty canvas right here.
Yeah, it really is.
Untouched sheets of clay. And let's do it. Let's make our own set list. This is cool. This is so cool. I've tried it before, but
So, right off the bat, I was thinking, what would be a good way to get this moving without us coming to a dead halt and not being able to agree on something?
Yeah.
So I came up with a mini solution.
Okay.
and I wanna give it to you. So here's my bargain for you. Here's my offer. I'm gonna give you an
Call
offer.
it a bargain, the best I ever had.
Is the Who gonna make it on? We'll see.
We'll see. It's very high possibility.
Got about 30 songs to go before we see if that gets in, but we'll see. So here's my bargain for you, Randy.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, I think we should decide. Do you want to start it off a little slower or a little faster?
That's a really good question. Obviously, I think that most fans go into a show and they kind of expect a little bit of a slow burn, even if it isn't the 3 song burn. If it's just the one, let's see where it takes us.
Okay. Well,
That's yeah.
let me give you my offer really quick before
Yeah.
you answer,
Mm-hmm.
because my offer is more on the side of a slower open. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Now, we have discussed in the past how I really like the idea of having Low Light as an
We
opener,
have discussed this.
but what I will do is I will agree to put that in the number 2 spot where you said you'd be
Ooh.
comfortable with it there. Okay.
Yes.
In return, I will let you have the number 1 pick,
Oh my goodness.
the opening song, and I won't argue it at all, but I get the automatic number 3 pick.
Oh, that's dangerous.
I want to let you know that, one, you could completely trust me,
Yeah. Okay.
and two, it's going to set a tone for the show that I think you will agree with me on when I explain it after I tell you what my number 3 pick is.
Okay. I think that's yeah. I think that's an extremely fair deal to start off the show here.
Okay, so
Um.
I thought that was a good way to, I mean, because the both of us we have so many opinions on how to start a show, so I figured this is the easiest way to literally slingshot and catapult us right into it, to where we could, and I think we're both going to very much agree with this. So if we could put Low Light in number 2, you could pick the opening song. So if you want to do that, it's all you.
You know, I'm never going to disagree with Low Light being on the set. Number 2,
Correct.
especially, is where I love it the most. But that really that puts so much intrigue into what number 3 is because literally you can keep going slower, you can go a little faster.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Don't worry. I'll say don't worry.
Okay, so however, number 1 here has to be around the same pace as Low Light. You can't start with something like Hail Hail and then go into Low Light. It would
True.
completely destroy your set and get people very confused, even though people love both songs. I've had a couple of different ideas, and I think I've been kind of fixated on one song that I wanted to open with, and I think the majority of the Pearl Jam universe would have to agree with me on this. And there's a lot of options here. There's Release, which is very, it's near and dear to me. It's the first song I've ever heard. It's one of my favorites. And then there's a song like Long Road. There's a song like Hard to Imagine, which is an excellent opener. But the one I want to go with here, because I think it works really well with Low Light, and that's the best way that I can pick it is what's going to flow really well together. And it works well with Low Light, and no one's ever going to complain about it. To open the show, Wash My Love, Wash My Love. What do you think of the pick?
I completely agree, and if you hadn't accepted my offer, I was going to offer up Wash or Pendulum. So I
Okay.
love it. I love
All
it.
right. Good. Our
Yeah.
first two our first two are off the board here, and that kind of you have to keep into account that some of those other songs that you do open with are might not be available for later. Are we gonna want to use Long Road at some point? It's probably not going to work. Are we going to want to use Of the Girl at some point? Would love to, but it's probably not going to work. There are some
Hmm.
songs that are really just meant for the opener that I don't think we're going to bring back here. So that kind of it crosses some things off the board. Nothing is totally off the board,
Right.
but just to keep in mind that that's where we're headed. So now, uh, this is the only time we're actually going to kind of do it draft style. We've made we've made a little bit of a trade. So you got number 3. I'm interested to hear what you got.
Okay, and I'm going to give you just a really quick, short background, my thought process for this, and that is a lot of people like a slower open. I'm one of them, and there's advantages and disadvantages. So, a disadvantage to a long, slow open is that once we start going down the list, say you have a slow open that is 3 or 4 songs. Okay, like I think it was Wrigley Night 2, right? They did. Like number 4 was Better Man. Like it was very cool, but it
You're
took
talking
a
about
while.
2016,
16, right?
Yeah.
It took a while to get there. So my thought process in this is, if it's too long of a slow open, then I feel like it's going to be very, very hard to place a pre-even flow cool down song, and I think we're going to get a lot of conflict with that if the slow open is too long.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it goes the same way with a really hard fast open, because I think when you're jamming in these hard fast songs right up front, it's just hard to pick hard fast songs like that, I think, to open up with. I think a slower I think a shorter slow burn opener will lead us to making the set much easier as we go on.
Okay.
So with that being said, my number 3 choice, Corduroy.
Oh man. Wow. That okay.
Yeah.
Now I don't disagree with that. However, I had something really special for Corduroy. I was saving Corduroy for a different point, but look, we made the trade, and that's the way it's going to go.
I just think Corduroy is an early set, like off to the races type song, and with the song like Wash, and then slowly, gradually getting bigger to Low Light, and then Low Light gradually gaining more steam, it leads into Corduroy so well, and there's just a magic when Corduroy is in the number 3 spot. It's almost indescribable to describe.
Indescribable to
describe when you're sitting there and you hear that guitar intro, because you're kind of off to the races at that point.
Yeah. Okay, this throws a little bit of a wrench into a game plan that I had, because I thought a really unique idea would be to close Encore 1 with Corduroy, because it's a unique closer when you think about it. Now, of course,
absolutely, yeah.
Of course, its bread and butter spot is within the first 3 or 4 songs, and I'm not going to disagree with putting it here, especially since we made the trade. But it throws a little bit of a wrench into the game plan that I had, because there's some specific songs that I had kind of down the line that were like heavy subs, and now you have to think, how heavy can you go after Corduroy? I would like to make a suggestion here.
Sure.
To keep the pace moving.
I have a feeling that we're up to number 4 now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, I have about 4 or 5 songs here that could go in like a 4, 5, 6 spot. So
As do I.
I have a feeling that we're going to be hitting here with no problem.
Okay. So for number 4, I'm thinking there's either one of 2 roads to go with.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can go with Save You. I think we can go with Hail Hail. And I'm leaning towards Hail Hail.
Hail Hail is exactly where I had it on my list.
Then I think we should make no more arguments, and Hail Hail is number 4.
Okay, and this throws. I'm sorry. You know what? Let me backtrack a little bit. This wasn't exactly where I had Hail Hail, but I could live with it here. What is one major song that I have major problems with placement?
Animal.
Do you remember? Animal. So Animal would have been my number 1, number 4 spot song, but I could absolutely live with Hail Hail there instead. What are your thoughts on having Animal in the number 5?
I don't mind it, but I have
That still is even a little too late for me. Talking about the opening of a set. So if you want to
right.
hold off on Animal till later, I'm fine with that too.
I mean, it might be a situation where we don't have a spot for Animal, and Animal's just not in the set tonight.
That's true, because
That's
another song like Animal that I really have a problem with where they place it sometimes is Why Go, and that's also on my list as well. So I mean, there could be a good trade-off for Why Go instead of Animal as we go along.
possibly.
Right.
I have a couple here working after Hail Hail. Originally, on my original list that I made, um, what I had following Hail Hail was Mind Your Manners, and I think that can still work. But
Dude, are you kidding? Because I have either Last Exit or Mind Your Manners.
okay, well, those were two of the three that I was going to suggest.
And well, because I was going to make my case for Mind Your Manners. I actually was positive you were going to veto that because I couldn't remember if you said you didn't like it or not
What
early on in
Mind Your
the
Manners?
set.
No, I think
Early,
it should be early in the set.
me too, because it's quick, it's fast, and okay, so say like a song like Comatose. We're kind of used to that sounding like shit, so I do have that coming up later. I think I might. But Mind Your Manners, I like it when it sounds really good. Call me crazy, right? So that's why I like it when it's up front because it doesn't take up a lot of time, and when they do it early, it sounds amazing.
I agree. I think when you're going fast like this, and it kind of puts you in a pace of um, you know, just a quick flow and punky flow early on. I
Hmm.
think it works after Hell Hell, and you kind of it's you're not boring the fans early, that's for sure, and
No,
it's a
definitely not. Definitely not.
you run right through it and you go right to the next song and you hear what you expect. But okay, so
Right, right.
now
So now I just have a quick question for you. Do you think the time for Last Exit now has passed? Because that drum intro is also really good.
it's very possible.
Earlier the better, I
It's
feel,
very
with that.
possible. However, I can see a scenario where we can use it in the encore if we had to. Um,
Because you know that my appreciation for Last Exit has grown.
mm,
So definitely holster that because I don't want to strike it completely because we did get a lot of feedback on Last Exit, of
yeah,
course. So let's maybe see if we could fit that in somewhere. I think as a mid-set song, it's not going to work, but maybe we could toss it in somewhere else.
yeah. Look, everything is on the table at this point. So number five, definitely, we're agreeing on Mind Your Manners.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. Now, I really think that my next pick, I think we're going to go right down the line, continuing to agree with one another. But just, just so you know, how I had my original set list, it's not too much different, but there are some songs that I wanted really early in the set that Corduroy really threw in that wrench. I wanted, I, I originally had after Low Light, I wanted to go into Love Boat Captain, which
Okay.
I agree. I thought about it a little more. Probably doesn't work. Then I wanted to do Low Light into Brain of J, and I thought really worked. And doing Brain of J, Spin the Black Circle, Save You, and then Hail Hail Mind Your Manners. I
All right, so,
think
so you were coming out like guns blazing
yes,
with that. Okay.
that's what my original game plan was. But we're still we're still there. We still have a lot of that there.
Yeah, and I know we had talked a lot about making this a very doable set,
Yeah,
and Brain of J coming later on in the set is not ideal, but if
it's not a we. It's still doable. It's something we can throw out there.
if we could find a spot for it, like late first set, that might be the kind of one little exception we make as far as considering Eddie's voice
Right.
live these days, because I feel like Brain of J could work very well in the beginning, but it
Yep.
could also really round out a first set. So
I agree. I
that
agree with Save You on that as well. I've heard Save You really late in the set, and I thought that was my favorite version of hearing Save You live. So we'll keep that in mind too.
yeah, Save You actually I have as a reserve for later on in the set. So we're
Okay.
still right on the same track here.
Perfect. All right. What? Okay, so to recap the top five, we're opening with Wash, going into Low Light, and then a little Corduroy, Hell, and Mind Your Manners. So this is something you can legitimately see at a show, and I'm sure pretty close to has happened before.
I am excited right now.
Yeah.
This is a great set.
This is really good. I think anybody would take this in a heartbeat. So, number 6. What are your thoughts for going after Mind Your Manners here?
This was a tough spot for me, actually. Basically, 6 and 7, I was having a really hard time filling this small gap before a cool down that I thought would be really cool. A cool down that would be cool. I feel like I can't talk today, like at all. I don't know.
A cool down.
I've been running around all morning, and as you know, I got right home and just set up the computer. So I'm sorry, everyone, if I'm a little off today.
It is the holiday season.
It's the holidays, man. It's my brain is all over the place, but I'm having a lot of fun doing this. So I'm actually going to revert right back to you. I want to hear your ideas for 6 and 7.
Okay.
Your 7 might actually meet up with mine. If it doesn't, I do have something I could work with a little bit. But 6, I'm a little stumped on, to be honest.
6, I'm kind of I if you're stumped, I have a remedy for you. I think this is gonna work.
Give me the medicine.
I think Severed Hand is number 6.
Wow.
Are we still on the same page or what?
Oh no, I'm writing it down. That's in. That's number 6.
Okay. All right. We don't even have to debate that. That's the way I had it on my original set, and from there it's kind of like
Randy,
you're still.
First, I just have to say I'm embarrassed for not even thinking of that. I really am.
It's something that I wanted to get on the set because we talked about like a lot of the songs that I did want to choose in the set today. I wanted to be ones that we've talked about before and talked about in certain spots that we liked. And Severed Hand was one of them that we said, like, you know, pretty early on in the set makes a big difference. And we've said that before.
And you know what? I really like the intro that it has. And after a song like, especially after Hail, Hail, Mind Your Manners, it does have that little minute intro there where it almost builds up again.
Yeah, kind of.
And it gives it a pretty cool little like
variation
clapping, right there, almost right in the middle of a
people can clap to it or something like that. Yeah, I agree with you. And you can kind of take the ending of the song. You can kind of take as sort of the way that it ends. It can kind of transition into almost anything. If you want to after that, you can go a lot slower. You can go completely into cool down mode. You can kind of go into second gear mode a little bit. So,
I agree with all of those. Yep.
Yeah, it's a really good pacer song.
Right. I'm sorry. What are we up to now? We're up to 1, 2,
7,
3, 4. So I had 3 choices for 7, 8, 9, and it would lead into even flow for the 10 spot.
Okay, which I think is right about where you should put that.
I think that's like the latest I would put it. So I'm going to give you my 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay.
You could feel free to agree, disagree, or if you like parts of it, give me suggestions for other ones. I'm going to lead it off with one that you might expect me not to, because you know I don't really care to hear it live anymore just because it's done a lot. But I'm thinking about sing-alongs. I'm thinking about flow. I'm thinking about fans. I'm thinking about popularity. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Elderly, I Am Mine, Red Mosquito, Even Flow.
I don't think you necessarily need Elderly Woman if you're going to do I Am Mine. I think you could just do one cool down and sort of do, like I said, a second gear song. So what I was thinking about after Severed Hand, the one I had down was In Hiding after Severed Hand.
So since I didn't have Severed Hand in my original list here of possibilities, yeah, I think In Hiding would, because it's not really a cool down. It's a shift, I think is the word you used, which works. So do you think In Hiding I Am Mine would work better than Elderly I Am Mine.
Yes, I do.
I definitely like In Hiding there. I do. I think I had In Hiding. In Hiding was a little bit later for me, but it was also like one of 4 options. So I don't mind moving it up. I think that's a good idea.
Well, you have to consider, obviously, this is a completely fictitious live set, but you have to consider when they're going to stop to talk. And after Severed Hand is a really good time to do it, especially if you are doing Elderly Woman, you're going to have to do it. However, you can decide, if you're the band, you can decide, well, we can stop after Severed Hand, or we can just keep going into In Hiding, and then they can stop and talk before I Am Mine. So they can do either or in that instance.
I would actually take it before In Hiding because I really like when they start I Am Mine. They bring down the lights and it's very moody and it's very it's got this atmosphere to it. The whole song is. I know that you don't feel the same way about the song. That it's not that you hate the song.
No, I do like the song. That's yeah.
Yeah, no, I know that.
And I had a feeling that this was going to be part of your game plan, so that's totally fine.
It's just got this. It's got this way about it to where almost nothing is said. Where the stage just goes silent, and it's almost like a, what are they going to do right now? And that guitar riff starts, and the lights are down, and I don't know, that moment for me was always really, really cool, and it was always one that really stood out. I totally see that after In Hiding. I like that a lot. I do.
Now, is there anything else that you could think of that, before we put pen to ink, which I already did, but is there anything else that you can think of that has that same flow like In Hiding that can go into I Am Mine?
I don't know. And I'm looking at my list now. I had Smile in like 6 different spots. I was like, ooh, this could work here. Ooh, this could work here. This could work here and here and here. You know what? I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on In Hiding now. Now that
all right, then why don't we don't have to overthink that. So
yeah. Unless something pops into our head later on, I don't know.
Now, let's work on number 9 because I disagree with putting Red Mosquito before Even Flow. I think that's too much of yeah, I think its typical spot is a little bit after Even Flow, like 2 or 3 spots after it. So I think that maybe the crowd would be a little bit off doing Red Mosquito before Even Flow.
The problem I had with Red Mosquito was I really wanted to get it in somewhere, but with my set,
it's still possible.
Right, with my set after Even Flow though, I couldn't get it to fit anywhere. That was my problem. So I was okay with it being stricken completely if it had to be. Because after Even Flow on my list of stuff, it wasn't really flowing or jiving as well. So
okay,
but also I don't know what your suggestions are going to be. So we could put a pin in Red Mosquito for now because I'll see what you come up with.
I have a couple.
Okay,
I have a couple. There are ones that I want to do because they are what I consider my songs.
Sure.
But then there are ones that I think could work here that might not necessarily be my song. So the way I had it originally, and I pretty much got my way on 4 songs in a row. The way I had my full set written: Hail, Hail, Mind Your Manners, Severed Hand, In Hiding. So after In Hiding, I had Sad, which I think could have worked, but I Am Mine works just fine if you're going to do a cool down. Does Sad work after I Am Mine? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if it works in between I Am Mine and Even Flow.
Because I did have Sad as a reserve here too.
Another one I had was Faithful.
Oh, okay. Before Even Flow.
Yep, which could work after I Am Mine. Another one, which is not one of my songs, that could work here, that is in the spot where I think we've seen it before. I'd rather not put it on this set, but you'd be totally fine with it, is Down.
I actually had Down coming up a little later. I like it later. The guitar intro to me is more fitting for a later first set because it's very poppy. It's kind of rounding it all back together before they break it back down into the sing-along.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
But you know what I'll do? If you want to put Down in here, if it means me getting it onto the set list, then I'm fine with it.
Well,
But
let's have this conversation before. Okay, so
sure.
before even flow, how do you want to ease into even flow? Do you want it to be kind of just a step above I Am Mine? Because if you're going it down, you're completely changing the tune, but it still works. It still works going into even flow,
Well,
but Faithful kind of flows into even flow a little better. It gives you more of a cool down than you originally anticipated.
right. Okay, so my thought on this is even flow is sped up. So it jumps back into gear pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that is what would make down work, because down isn't as fast as even flow, so it would still serve as a pretty good build up. But on the other hand, Faithful is a more, I think, gentle progression into a hard hitting even flow, which both of them do work. My problem with Faithful is, I'm sorry to everyone out there, I do not like Faithful live. Sometimes it drags a little bit for me.
Then
this is tough though. This is tough.
I have 2 more wild cards to throw in there.
Okay.
Maybe 3.
Okay.
One is completely slow. One is kind of in the same fashion as Faithful, and then one is kind of more in the same fashion as Severed Hand.
Okay.
We can either do Nothing Man, we can do In My Tree, or we can do Green Disease. Those are my other options here.
Yes. And I like them all. And I have told you that I would love to see Green Disease. Wow. That is really tough.
Does it work in the even flow, though?
What, Green Disease?
Yeah. However, there is a number 11. I think it can absolutely work because it's a sing-along. I Am Mine is a little bit less of a sing-along than Nothing Man is, but it still works as your 2-song cool down, and then kind of it hypes you back up.
Would you consider In Hiding, Nothing Man, I Am Mine, Even Flow? Because I Am Mine has that ending solo that could go into an even flow.
I'm trying to hear that solo now.
Me too. And I was going to suggest In My Tree.
In My Tree is probably a better post even flow, but it's still an option here.
You know where I really like it? In My Tree actually would have been my choice for a longer set open, and I would have suggested that after Low Light. I think that would have sounded really cool.
I had a feeling that you were probably going to say that. I was actually bracing myself for that answer. I was thrown for a loop when you said Corduroy. That would have been made complete changes to the set, I'm sure.
And I did Corduroy only because of my explanation, where I wanted to be able to get into a meaty part of the set, because I knew we were going to have a problem placing and picking a cool down section, which is what we're doing right now.
Yeah, so, it's very difficult. So, okay. Honestly, I think we can do I Am Mine into Nothing Man. I think it'll still work.
Okay, so
yeah, because In Hiding, I Am Mine, Nothing Man, even flow.
Well, like I said, they put Nothing Man in spots that make no sense, but the song is so beautiful that it doesn't matter.
I think this makes sense. I think going from I Am Mine, which is very low key, into another one that's very low key, but it's more sing songy. It prepares you for even flow. I think it's fine.
If Nothing Man is in the set, that's all I care about.
Okay. Now we have Nothing Man and even flow. We got a little Mike McCready action going on, and we are 10 songs deep. Keep in mind, we're probably going to keep this anywhere from 32 to 35. I think that's a good benchmark. Also, what we've tried to nail down is we're trying to get at least 1 song per album. So right now, a lot of albums have contributions right now. I don't think we have a verses. We don't have a binaural right now. We do not have a backspacer yet. So I think we'll get to some of those we have to. So,
Do you have a feeling on a song maybe
Ooh.
off of one of those three that would fit after Even Flow?
Yeah, I got one in mind that is like my post even flow. It depends on how you want to go post even flow. I think you already cooled down. So I think you have to you can either do even flow one of two ways. You can either flow right into it and then cool down, or you can cool down and then even flow starts to pick it up.
Right.
But it would be it would be like a cool off, I would say. I think Glorified G works here.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
I just, like I said, you're not cooling down, but you're changing the pace up a little bit, and it's bouncy. It's still fun.
Right. It's got that guitar intro similar to Down, where it could lead you in again,
Yeah.
basically. But it doesn't get too crazy.
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Yeah, I like that. Oh yeah. No, put that down. I like that a lot. That's good.
And that's one we talk. I feel like out of every song that we've talked about, Glorified G has just jumped up about 100 notches in my book. Not like it was that low before, but I don't know.
I completely agree.
I've gotten such an appreciation for the song now, hearing it more and more live, covering it. All right, so this is another interesting spot because nowadays they like to go with things like sirens here. They like to go with I don't know. There's a whole different mess of stuff that they can do here. And sort of when you think kind of middle of the set, there are some songs that just belong there in the middle of the set. And like you said before, Red Mosquito is definitely one of them.
Yeah. So I had an idea.
Okay.
I had an idea, and I had Red Mosquito a little earlier, but I also had it as a reserve a little later,
Mm-hmm.
and it was going to work kind of in conjunction with another song. Now, it's not an old favorite. It's not really even that widely known, but we really loved it.
What do you got?
Listen, feel free to shoot this down, but I didn't want to go without bringing it up just because I thought maybe you'd be on board. What about Red Mosquito, Tail Lights Fade?
Oh. Oh man,
I want to see them do Tail Lights Fade again so bad.
I know.
That was one of the best parts of the Fenway shows.
It was really good. It was really good. Here is the thing, though, that is so unique and special to those shows. I know. If this is a Citi Field show, that's not happening there.
No, it's not. And that's what makes me so mad. It's because you were probably never going to see Tail Lights Fade ever again, and it was so good.
Good thing we got it twice.
Yeah.
But no.
Do you want to agree on? No, that was a total wild card for me. Just to to bring it up. I didn't want to not bring it up.
I think that was definitely bold to do that. It was smart.
Do you want to throw Red Mosquito in here just to get it out of the way after Glorified G? Do you want to have that?
Yeah, I think it does work. I think Red Mosquito definitely does work after Glorified G. I think this is around the time where you're supposed to get it, but then it throws a couple options out there.
You could start getting into the Jeremys here. You could start getting into the Daughters here. I kind of have those as throw-ins basically for a spot like this. So
right.
Or you could do one more. Before that, you could do a Down. You could do a Mankind. You could do I don't know. Like I said, I've Smile in like 10 spots. I feel like we got to fit that in somewhere too.
I mean, its Smile definitely has its very specific spot, but
yeah, but I didn't want to tie it down
right.
just in case it was going in a certain direction. So just know that if you want to pop that out somewhere, it might come into play on my set list as well, because like I said, I've got it marked down in a few spots.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm after Red Mosquito is really tough because I have a lot of different options here that we could go with.
You could go the Jeremy Daughter. You could go down. You could go. I mean, you could throw Lucan in here quick. You could. There's a lot of options.
All right, so the ones that are near the top of my list to hit around this time
Mm-hmm.
are Unthought Known, Immortality, maybe Untitled / MFC,
Okay.
Grievance or Insignificance.
Insignificance would be cool for sure.
I'm starting to hear that little drum part of Grievance after Red Mosquito,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it might work.
Okay. Because I was going to go with Unthought, which actually I left off my set only because I thought you might not have gone for it.
That was my Backspacer song. I didn't really put a lot of Backspacer stuff spliced in here, so
I left Got Some off. I did not even want to go down that road.
yeah, no Got Some, no Fixer, no Johnny
no
Guitar.
Fixer, no Johnny Guitar. Those are not here.
I think I put Force of Nature somewhere as like a reserve, but it's
Yeah, that would be cool. So Red Mosquito. So you said Insignificance, right?
Grievance.
Oh, Grievance. Sorry. That's cool. I do like that.
Boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, 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 right after Red Mosquito kind of ends, because you're going really twangy with Red Mosquito, and
Right.
then you're going kind of tribal and heavy with
Right.
Grievance, and out of Grievance you have a massive canvas there too.
Yeah. So I would say Unthought because it's a good stadium sing along type song, but
I don't think we have to use it yet.
it's not going to break my heart if it's not in here at all.
Look, I'm gunning for it. I would like to use it somewhere, but it
Okay.
doesn't have to be in here yet. It can be within the next like 5 songs or so. I think it can work, but
I think it's a little bit too up tempo when it starts to open up there. I feel like it might feel out of place. You might get some pushback on me for that one, but let's see how it goes. I think in my opinion, we might have just missed the good spot for it, but let's keep.
No,
going. Let's see.
I think we could still use it later in the set. We'll discuss that later.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm a little torn because I also think that there's another song that could go after Red Mosquito that would work really well as well.
Which one?
I Got Shit.
You know what? I didn't put that on. I didn't put that on mine.
Do you want to just go with Grievance?
I really am liking that idea of Grievance there.
I say let's go with Grievance.
Okay. That's fine with me. I'm on board for that one.
But the ship may now have sailed on I Got Shit.
That's how I feel with Unthought too. So let's see where we end up with it.
Okay. All right. Grievance, have a drink, we're buying. Sometimes I get confused what the words of Grievance and what the words of Insignificance are, but I definitely just sang Grievance, so that's good. I got it right. Okay. I think you have to kind of mellow out a little bit after that. It can just be for one song. I think this is where Immortality sticks.
I mean, I'd love to get it in. I had Immortality as a reserve for around either this time or
I had Army Reserve as a reserve. Literally.
Yeah, actually so did I.
I didn't put Army Reserve on my list at all. Surprisingly.
Oh, you didn't?
No, I didn't. I skipped it for some reason.
I had it as a reserve, but yeah, not gonna break my heart if it's not there. Yeah, Immortality's cool, and then I could take that off of my reserve list as we go down the set, so I won't have to make that decision later on. So maybe that's a good choice there.
Yeah, because the way that Grievance ends, it's kind of solemn a little bit, and I think it transitions to Sleight of Hand on the album. I can't remember.
You're setting a stage here now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 songs in. So with Immortality here, you're setting now a direction to where the rest of the set's gonna go.
Yes.
And it's gonna have to go in like a hard right or a hard left. That's a bold move with Immortality there. I like it. I like it a lot. But now now I'm ready to see this thing
Well,
open
here's
the
what you
hell
can
up.
do after Immortality. What I'm thinking. I think you could do Unthought after Immortality.
You know, I think you might have won me over on that. I think
Yeah.
Immortality is that song that could bring Unthought back into the set.
Yeah, look, this late in the set, like, you're just about to get to later in the closing set. We're thinking about 18 to 20 first set songs here. This is just about getting into late in the set. You don't need more than one late cool off. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So from here, you have Unthought Known, and it gets really bubbly, and then I have an idea after Unthought Known that can get really back to the set rocking again. So
I had an idea as we're coming up on it too. It might be a little bit too much though after Unthought. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not too much.
So are we sold? Definitely 15 Unthought.
Yeah, that's fine. I think Immortality is the song that needs to come before that.
And we get that Backspacer song. Okay, so let's recap since we're kind of in the middle of this here. Wash, Low Light Corduroy, Hail Hail, Mind Your Manners, Severed Hand, In Hiding, I Am Mine, Nothing Man, Even Flow, Glorified G, Red Mosquito, Grievance, Immortality, Unthought Known.
Cool.
And we got anywhere from 4 to 5 more first set songs.
My next suggestion, like I said, might be a little bit too much, but it's one of a few suggestions.
Okay. I'm really this part of the set. I'm very open.
Okay. Oh, that's funny because I'm open.
Oh.
Kidding. All right, ready?
Yeah.
How would you feel about Alone?
I was gonna suggest Alone for after Red Mosquito. I think it was either after Glorified G or Red Mosquito. That's a very interesting choice.
Yeah, I mean,
after Unthought.
After Unthought, do you want to keep on this easing back into the set, or do you want to be kicked in the nuts?
Alone kicks you in the nuts.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. Do you want to go with Alone and get kicked in the nuts? Is what I'm saying.
Well, I was going to kick you in the nuts a different way.
Okay. Well, let me hear yours.
There's no wrong way to kick somebody in the nuts. It's like skinning a cat.
Here's the thing, Randy. If you have a song that could kick me in the nuts, I have 2 nuts, so we could do both songs. Are you thinking Brain of J here?
No, I'm not thinking Brain of J, but I am thinking of one that we did talk about.
Okay.
I am thinking Save You.
That's a kind of cool idea.
Because this is around that point in the set where I believe I heard it that one time that I liked.
Now, what do you think? Do you think they'd work well together? And if they did, do you think one should go before the other? I'm trying to think Sing Unthought in my head.
But Save You and Alone?
I'm sorry?
What? Oh, Save You and Alone, or Save You, or just Unthought and Save You?
I'm thinking of how it would go: Unthought, Alone, Save You, or Unthought, Save You, Alone. I'm trying to think of how to get the double whammy in there, but how it would work the best.
I don't think Save You works after Alone, but I do think that Alone works after Save You.
We'll make the compromise to Unthought, Save You, Alone.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
That's a pretty kick-ass start to the end of this set.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. That's really good. And so I would these last 2 or 3 here, you have to think about closing out the set.
Yeah. So this is okay. Something after
I have a really, really, really wild card that I want to throw out there that I only think works in the first set. Okay. It might work in an encore, but that
was kind of my thinking about Down is I think it could go in an encore. I wouldn't love it there because I actually would really like how it would sound after Alone here because it's got that kind of Glorified G poppy dancey type thing, but I think we are getting too close to the end of the set here, and
I don't think you can have Down and Unthought Known all in that same.
I think you can, and I think it would sound really good, but we're kind of down to the wire here on this set 1, and I don't think the way things are going, I want to put Down in an encore, so okay. I think I'm okay letting go of Down, which breaks my heart, but it's for the sake of flow and making the set work. So
Yeah.
I will officially take down Off the Table because
Okay.
this is exactly where I would put it after Alone, but we have other things that we got to get in here.
Yeah. All right. So my crazy wild card that
Okay.
I've been kind of
Is this what you hinted to Buckley?
Yeah, I believe so.
I've been
this is a
wondering
little
about
crazy.
this for like a day or two, so I'm very interested to
Okay.
hear.
All right. So this is it's two songs. Basically, the one song that's it's a song that has never been played live before. It's a song that nobody recognizes really as a song. It's one of the Vitalogy bullshit
Oh, no.
songs. Now, and then it would go into a song that isn't theirs but was recorded by them. And no, it's not Last Kiss. So just before you get scared, I was thinking about doing Pry 2, and
Interesting.
here's the way that I would do it. So he would do the PRIVACY is priceless to me, and he would keep going on, and then it would get harder and harder, and it would go about for like a minute. And have you ever heard Pry 2 backwards? Backwards, it's translated into Pete Townsend, He Saved My Life. So I was thinking about doing like, you get really hard, he says PRIVACY is priceless to me, and then then it kind of gets hard, a little harder. PRIVACY, Pete Townsend, He Saved My Life. PRIVACY is priceless to me. Bum 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 bum. What do you think?
What was the next song?
Leaving Here.
Oh, I was like that. That's
what I was doing.
I hate Leaving Here. I hate it.
You do?
I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah. I just. Oh God, I don't like Leaving.
That was my idea, and you know what? I didn't think it was going to get used, but I think I needed to throw something completely different.
I mean, that is completely different. I don't mind putting Pry 2 in there. I don't. If you want to have it in there, I think it's fine.
No, I think it needs to. In my head, I had the idea that it needed to be the lead-in into Leaving Here.
When you sang that Leaving Here intro, I was like, Randy, I don't think they ever recorded American Woman. That's what I thought you were saying.
Similar. Not the same.
I thought you were going to say they were going to go into Love Reign Over Me. I was like, I don't remember them recording that, but no, or did they? Was that on like a?
Yeah, they recorded it.
Yeah, that was on. Was that a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame recordings or something? I forget.
Possibly, I can't remember. It was around like 2006 or so, though. Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it was for. Okay, let's get back on track here. I think we bullshitted that a little bit. So
I really love the idea. I do. I think it's really cool, and it would be a one-time thing that they would do.
Yeah.
I just Leaving Here is like, oh God. I don't know. I don't think it sounds good. I think it's sloppy. I think it's All
right. Then how about this? For the next two songs, I think we should close the first set in the next two songs. Okay. And I think we should make it pretty simple.
Okay. Well, I had an idea that wasn't so simple, but it's just one song.
Okay.
It's just one song.
Okay.
And since I wasn't really big on your idea, it's okay for you not to be big on my idea.
Okay.
Actually, my idea would go better with 3 more songs. But if you want to do 2, that's okay too. But I would love to see this at the very end of a first set. I'm throwing Big Wave into the ring.
I knew you would.
And it's not even to make a joke, like the podcast joke. I legitimately would love to see it, but I might be overreaching, like, because we're also talking about what's going to be possible, and it's probably not possible. So
I actually don't think it works here, and that's just it's unbiased opinion. Something after Alone, you go into kind of a deep cut. I think end of the set, you're going the last 2 songs here. I think it needs to be familiar stuff.
That's why I said it would work better if it was Big Wave and then 2 more songs, 3 songs there,
right.
not just 2. So
right.
It's I don't want Big Wave Better Man. I don't want that.
No.
If it was Big Wave Better Man Once or Porch, that would be a little better. But if you just want to go the
Well, one of those that you just said was going to be my next pick. I think Once After Alone is really good.
Okay, are you looking to end set 1 with Better Man by any chance?
I wasn't opposed to it. It was either going to be. I was thinking Once in the Rear View.
Okay, I have Rear View a little later.
Okay.
I thought that would be...
Once in the Better Man does not sound like a horrible idea, though.
I was thinking of holding off on Rear View Mirror kind of in the way that we were holding off on Do the Evolution, because I thought maybe... it would be a cool little surprise, where you think maybe they're not going to do it, and then they do.
I'm okay going Once in the Better Man.
I didn't want to do Porch. That was a reserve.
Yeah, I don't want to do Porch at all. I don't want Porch in the set.
If you were dead set on Porch, then I would be okay with
not
it.
At all.
But
I'm actually pretty sick of Porch.
All right. So do you want to do Alone Once Better Man?
Alone Once Better Man.
All right.
And that's the end of the first set.
Because that Better Man solo, like the jam they do at the end when they end a set with that is it's something else, man. It ends it on this really positive, happy.
Agreed. I agree with you.
And with such a fantastic sing along, how do you end a set better than that? I like this set a lot.
Yeah, I think it's really fun. Look, we're not doing anything that's like overly complicated or rare. This is, but it's, yet again, it's not basic. It's just good. This is all good stuff that works together.
I started off a little complicated, and I started off listening to these different playlists and sets, and I was like, I was going crazy with it. Like, oh, there's, and I'd listen to it. I'm like, this sucks. What the hell am I thinking? And I had to just step back and strip it down a little bit. Honestly, it's cool. You gave me some ideas here, and I gave you some ideas, and I think that was pretty painless, to be honest.
Yeah, it all came together much better than I anticipated it to.
I know that we both, we're gonna have to make a few little sacrifices, because that's.
I think so.
You just listen. We both love so many songs, and there's just so much room for what you could fit. So, if I could real quick just go through some of my songs that didn't make it onto set 1.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Animal, Last Exit, Smile, Jeremy, Big Wave, Comatose, Daughter, Mankind, Lucan. Like, those are songs you could fit in somewhere, but I think when it comes to flow and the different things that we added in, I think this is pretty good. And even though I'd like to hear those songs live, this set would make me very, very happy.
I totally agree, and I think a lot of these I originally had very high on my list. The ones that didn't make it yet, I think a couple of these still can make it. Brain of J obviously was one of them. Spin the Black Circle I wanted to do really early in the set, but that didn't come to fruition. I think we could still go back to that.
See, those two did not make it onto my encore sets, but there is room for them. So yeah, I mean, the only thing we could do is to move on to Encore 1.
Yeah, Sad was another one that was left off. Faithful we talked about. Insignificance we kind of talk about.
Yeah, Sad I had on there too. That was a reserve.
What else was high? MFC was pretty high on my list. Now looking at the set real quick, there's only one song we did in the first set that I have not seen live before, and that's Glorified G. So just so you know that there's no there's no ulterior motive to get things, to get dream sets. This is not like really a dream set in a way. It's a constructed set, I suppose.
Right.
Or else I would be putting shit that I've never seen all over the place, and I haven't really pitched for a lot of things that I've never seen. Like Light Years was pretty high on my list, but I kind of got talked out of that. I talked myself out of that after a while.
Yeah.
John, I had originally showed John my list too, and he kind of talked me out of Light Years too. He said he didn't really think it worked in the set.
You know, there are some songs that are very rare and that everyone would like to see, but a lot of them are very rare for a reason, and some of it is because they don't really have a place, and maybe they're not that great. Maybe they're not a good live song. So
Yeah.
I understand wanting to see those and collect them, but we had to go into this thinking that some of those songs just kind of suck. Or they don't, not that they suck, but they would suck to,
No offense, songs.
they would suck to place in a set. And
Yeah,
it would
okay,
trip
I
us
see where
up,
you're-
and it would hold us back, and it would
Yeah.
make it very hard. So
As far as the albums go, we've hit 10. We've hit Once and Even Flow for 10. We've hit Verses with Glorified G, and I believe that is it for Verses. For Vitalogy, Corduroy Better Man, Immortality. Is there another Vitalogy? No. For No Code, Red Mosquito, and Hell. For Yield, Low Light, In Hiding. And that's it for Yield. Grievance for Binaural. Save You and I Am Mine for Riot Act. Severed Hand for Avocado. We hit all the albums. Unthought Known, Backspacer, and Mind Your Manners for Lightning Bolt.
all right.
So we're not tied to. That was the only thing that I wanted to do, was just to make sure that we got every album to have a contribution here. So that's and Lost Wash being a Lost Dog,
Yeah.
and Alone being
And
a Lost
Alone,
Dog too.
yeah,
So
correct.
we have not used a cover so far.
Okay, well, I might have a remedy for that.
Okay.
And this is actually
This one the first encore is going to be very tough. I have a lot of options.
so this was actually one of the ones that I cut back on options a lot because I don't want to say I was being stubborn with myself with it, but I wanted to be really focused with it because there are so many different options, and I knew you'd come up with a lot. So what I did with myself was I made like this very specific encore set.
Okay.
I wanted to see what you would bring into it to sway me different ways because I had so many options for this, and
Start out with like your first three or so.
okay, my second one is going to actually be a little nod to some suggestions that we got on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Okay. Verse 3. Thumbing My Way, Won't Back Down, Present Tense.
Present Tense is going to be the third song of the bunch. That is on my. I think that's 100%. We agree with that. That was in my set.
Can't have a set without it. In my opinion, can't have one without it.
Completely agree.
Okay, cool. So I'm starring that, so I know to add it to the final set. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a little background. The Thumbing My Way that we saw at Fenway this year, I thought was incredible, and
Yes.
and it really stuck with me. So instead of driving myself crazy on how to open this encore setup in a Eddie centric type of way, I said to myself, Thumbing My Way is one that I would really enjoy. And that was my thought process on that. And then we had a lot of people, say how Won't Back Down was always a very special moment for them. And we had a write-in to Facebook and said, again, saying the same thing. And
There's a logistic issue the way that you have it, though, I will say.
well,
Is that I Won't Back Down is just Eddie.
well,
So you would have to, if you wanted to do that, you would have to switch that first.
Eddie could do Thumbing My Way alone. Is it preferable? No. Would I
It
want it that
sounds
way?
better
Not
with the
really.
band.
It does sound better with the band. So I don't know if I would switch them because I like Thumbing My Way as the opening part. So let me hear what you have.
I can be talked into Won't Back Down. I can be talked into that, but I think that needs to be, it needs to be realistic. I don't want the band leaving the stage again. It just,
Have the band do it too. I know they wouldn't. I know that that's kind of Eddie's thing, but
right.
that was more also of a callback to the people that wrote into us that we really appreciate.
Yeah.
So I wanted to toss that in there somewhere.
We did
And,
do a lot of back and forth with the fans on this and what they
yeah.
thought they wanted where.
Yeah, I think we hit a bunch of them.
Here's my ideas for the early first encore. Now, this is a spot that I think for a lot of people you get really antsy because this could be the spot where you hear something you're never going to hear again or never heard before.
Yeah, it could be anything from a rare song to a cover song to a song that they wrote right before they went on. It could really be anything there.
You need to make it special. So Originally, my first three went this way: Footsteps, WMA, and Present Tense. As you know, I am full in campaign for play WMA in full live.
I agree. I agree.
And I think it could work here. I think it might work somewhere else in the vicinity of the rest of the show. But I had some other alternative ideas of songs to do here. I don't think you like the song, but Man of the Hour is possible. You don't like Man of the Hour.
It's not my favorite, but it fits.
Inside Job.
Oh, okay.
Which you do like.
Right. Yes, I do.
Fatal would be the one that the fans would be like, holy shit, we just saw Fatal tonight.
What would be your number one pick for the
first song out?
For the first song out, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I originally said Footsteps, and I think I have to keep it to Footsteps.
Okay.
It's like my top 5 favorite song.
I think that would sound good. And if you want to get it in there because it's a song that you want to hear, then I think that's fair to do.
Okay. Now, it was originally, the original set was Footsteps, WMA, Present Tense, but I think this is open here where you can do something really, really rare in between the two songs.
I think WMA would be the way to go, though, because I don't know if I agree with it working anywhere else going down into the encores here. I think this would be a really amazing spot for it, unless you wanted to switch it with Present Tense, unless you want to do Footsteps, Present Tense, WMA.
No, because Present Tense ends on such a high. I actually want to go Present Tense and to Do the Evolution.
Okay, let me see where I had Do the Evolution.
That's the Do the Evolution spot.
Okay, because you know what I had? I had 2 different scenarios here, actually, and one is with Do the Evolution, so it's close. So, okay, so Footsteps, WMA, Present Tense. Are we pretty good on that?
I'm torn between WMA and Fatal.
Okay.
I think either would be really fun for the fans to see, but man, people don't talk about WMA because it's just, if you hear it within Daughter, it doesn't count towards your stats if you hear it within Daughter, but you still hear it. And it's kind of common that way.
I don't want that.
But
I don't want
I don't want it either. But however, remember, they're not bringing Dave Abrazazi on stage to play WMA here. This is the full band. There's, I was going to say earlier, like, hey, wouldn't it be funny if Jack Irons was there in attendance and they could do In My Tree and they could do that long intro? No, that's totally unrealistic. We can't do stuff like that. So, therefore, are you going to get the best version of WMA if you do that? No, you're going to get that crappy acoustic version that they do nowadays. Look, maybe it's not totally crappy, but in comparison to how the original version is, it's not.
Can we take some liberties here and just say, for the sake of the set, for the sake of what we want, we say that they do the full band WMA?
Yeah,
here
we
in
can
the
do
spot.
that.
I mean, can we just do that just for our own sake?
We can do that. I think that's totally fair.
Okay, and if you decide to switch it up, as we go along, then just say we'll switch it up.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine. But then, just keep in mind now there are not a lot of opportunities later in the set. We have around 10-ish songs left. There's not a lot of opportunities to get rare stuff in.
I actually have 10 more songs listed on here.
I think that's probably that's perfect. You get about 33 in. After Present Tense, we were going to do the Evolution.
I'm sorry, I said 2 before. I have 3 different scenarios. After Present Tense, I had written down Do the Evolution, Crazy Mary, Black, Why Go. Then I had one that said Present Tense, Crazy Mary, Black, Do the Evolution, Why Go. And then I had another one that said Present Tense, Black, Do the Evolution, Crazy Mary, Why Go. So I had 3 different versions of those 5 songs.
I think that all those
together.
songs that you mentioned in there are going to get in the set.
Yeah.
However, I don't think any of them are going to follow Do the Evolution.
Really?
Yeah, I think you have to keep the pace going. I have two choices.
See, I kind of disagree because sometimes their set 1 is sometimes not good. And I like it when Encore ones pick up. I don't like it when they keep it drab and dull, and I don't
Okay.
I don't.
I have two options here. For after Do the Evolution. I'm thinking State of Love and Trust, or I'm thinking Not For You.
Not For You is...
Not For You probably doesn't work as well the more that I think about it, but...
I'm trying to think of that one. Okay, so let's... I could get on board with State of Love and Trust.
Okay.
So, present tense, Do the Evolution, State of Love and Trust.
And now, I think after State of Love and Trust, you could do Black.
This is... After Black is where I really would want to do Why Go, because I have a huge problem with where they place that song and where they place Animal, and it drives me nuts when it's in a crappy spot.
So, just for a sec, are we doing Black after State of Love and Trust? Have we decided on that?
I think that's an appropriate spot. Yeah,
okay.
that's I had Black as the second to last in I think like 2 of those 3 scenarios, so I'm more than okay with that.
Okay.
And then this is where I would put Why Go, and
is that closing the set?
that would be closing Encore 1. Yeah.
Okay, so that's 7 Encore 1 songs, and you're leaving it to about 6 or 7 Encore 2 songs. It should be about, yeah.
My Encore 2 was a little, not aggressive, but, you know, I you'll see that I definitely had a direction for my Encore 2. It's an Encore 2 that I would blown away by.
Right.
But if you think a song would better close out this set here than Why Go, or if you want to add a song between Why Go and Black, then that's cool too.
How about Go then Why Go?
Okay, because I had Go second song in Encore 2.
Yeah, I definitely think Go goes somewhere around here.
I think it could go either one of those spots. So it's another song that I'm happy just to get it on the set.
I think the transition from Go into Why Go is really going to work.
Yeah, I'm good with moving that from Encore 2 to Encore 1 for sure.
Okay, so that now you have 8 songs in Encore 1. Unless you want to do this, do you want to do Go and then open Encore 2 with Why Go? Or just open Encore 2 with Go and close with Why Go? Either or, I think works well for me.
Yeah, because I like this Go and Why Go because I really wanted to get Crazy Mary in there, and I don't know if that works as well after like a Go open for Encore 2.
Yeah.
Unless you had a different spot you thought for Crazy Mary. Unless you didn't want Crazy Mary at all.
No, I did want Crazy Mary.
Okay. I do like Go, Why Go. I do like that. I'm okay with that.
Then why don't we just do that? Why don't we just do that? Yeah. Go, Why Go, and that'll close out the set. Because I think the drum intro to Why Go coming in after Go, that would be like a seamless transition, would be awesome. I think the crowd would be on their feet. All right, we have about like 5 or 6 songs to work with.
I have 7 here, but it's because I have a choice between 2 closers.
Okay. All right, so to open Encore 2, should we let's recap just Encore 1 here. Footsteps, WMA, Present Tense, Do the Evolution, State of Love and Trust, Black, Go, then Why Go. And we are 27 songs in. I think that's a really good show so far. And we'll recap the whole entire thing at the end once we get done with Encore 2 here. All right, to open the second Encore, how do you want to open it? Do you want to open it? Look, this is a very typical spot for Smile. Like you said, Crazy Mary can work here.
So I had Crazy Mary in the Encore 1, but I just moved it under Smile. So I would do Smile, Crazy Mary, or Crazy Mary, Smile.
I think Smile, Crazy Mary works.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Okay. Now, there's one song I really do want to get into the second Encore. And I think it does work after Crazy Mary.
What is it?
Breath.
Ooh, I didn't have that. I'm into it.
Now,
I like that.
Let's just see what else. So we have like about 4 songs to work with. If we're doing 33, maybe we could do 34.
Breath in there threw mine for a little bit of a loop, but I'm seeing something kind of come about here. Something is forming here on my list.
Okay.
That I didn't see before.
Now you gotta, we're pretty light on covers. We don't. Crazy Mary's our first cover, so
I was just gonna bring that in, actually.
Okay.
My original was, well, really want to give it away what the end was going to be. So,
okay, I have not marked Breath on my list yet, by the way, because
oh, you haven't? I
should
think
we
it's
just
pretty
do it?
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
right.
Absolutely, 100%.
Now we have three to four songs left.
Okay, so
Let's not go much further than that because we're near bread and butter territory right now. That's why I was going to bring up other songs that we have not used yet. We have not used River Mirror yet. We have not used Blood yet. We have not used Life Wasted.
yeah, those were all songs, Blood, Life Wasted, stuff like that. But getting towards the end of the set, this is where I feel like those songs probably aren't possible.
Yeah, fair.
Let me run this by you. I just did a quick rewrite because you added Breath, which I really like. How about something like this? It's going to be a little different at the end here.
Okay.
It's going to be kind of cool.
All right.
Well, kind of cool because I saw it once, and again, it's something that I would really like to see again. How about Smile, Crazy Mary, Breath, Rearview Mirror, Alive, I Got a Feeling.
That's very unique and
Pretty unique, right?
it's cool. It's very
cool, but change my mind. Like, give me some ideas here. Because of course,
Rearview Mirror after Breath works, but man, you're going from Alive from Rearview Mirror into Alive. That's pretty heavy stuff.
I have Indifference, of course, as an alternate. Of course.
Yeah.
Well,
I have a closing song that's completely off the board.
Okay.
I have a cover song that is, it's part of bread and butter territory, but it's not necessarily bread and butter. But out of all the cover songs, I want to use it the most. I either think that at this point you go from Breath into Alive into Sonic Reducer and then, and then finish it.
So you want to cut out Rearview Mirror is what you want to do?
I don't want to, but I think
you got to think of...
for us to add one more song into this, it has to be really good. It has to work perfectly.
And Rearview Mirror is one of those. It's just now a problem of where does it go?
I just think it's so heavy for this point in the set.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. Man, that's tough because
that's why they always close with it. In this day and age, they always close with it because you can.
But at the same time, what we're talking about, that's why they'll cut it out too.
If we backtrack a little bit, we really want to get Rearview Mirror in the set, we can cut Why Go and put Rearview Mirror in Why Go spot. Go into Rearview Mirror is really, really good.
I am ready to do that if you are.
I'm ready.
All right.
It's a tough decision, but you know what? I'm cool with it.
Hey, yeah, I'm cool with it too.
This was the first real scratch off.
I feel like if there's a song you really want to hear, it's a Rearview Mirror, and that's the song that they will cut because it's later on in the set, and either it's a time thing or a band thing.
Right, if it's not closing,
that's the one that gets cut, and it's so disappointing every single time.
Smile's another one that always gets cut too. So that's
absolutely. That's why I had it in about 6 different spots on this set.
And we're coming off of this Moline show with a lot of no code. I think we have 4. We have Hail Hail, we have Present Tense, we have Smile, and we have Red Mosquito. A lot of no code in there. I wanted to get one more binaural song in the whole thing, but I guess we didn't. And at this point, there's no way we can do that. Right. So now we're back.
Which just shows how tough of an album that album is.
Yeah, it really is.
So now I can't really be that mad at Pearl Jam anymore because it's tough. It's tough to place those songs.
We're still back to this point of what comes after Breath. Does Alive come after Breath? Do we do a live Sonic Reducer? Figure out a closer?
Maybe?
Well, remember what I said last week. This gives us 5 no-code songs if we do this.
Okay.
Around the Bend.
Oh, dude, I completely forgot about that. That's a great idea. And that is something that
it fills in that rare look. We didn't throw in a lot of like checklist songs like check this off and I've never heard it before. Around the Bend puts that right there.
And you know what's really funny? I meant to remind myself when we had talked to Dave about when he said Around the Bend was a closer one time. And I was like, I got to remember that. And I didn't remember that. So I'm glad you did.
Yeah, we talked about it a little last week actually. And I think Patrick actually wrote on our comments. He said that was one of the things that he wanted to see. I think it's such a cool way to end a show. I love ending the show with Indifference because it gets the crowd so involved.
But this is so different and interesting.
We haven't done anything that like was a complete 180 of what they usually do. I think this is a set that's very practical.
It's practical, but it's a set where we could go into the show, listen to it, and then come out and say that was the best show I've ever seen because
right.
It's got perfect flow, it's got perfect song choice. So I think throwing in the complete curveball at the very end, I think that's a really cool idea.
Okay. So you're saying After Breath Alive. That's a lot.
It's not my favorite, but I think
you're crunched for time. You get crunched for time.
I want to do it that way because Sonic Reducer and Around the Bend are two great enders. So
and you're fine with going Sonic Reducer. You're fine getting not doing Rockin', not doing Baba, not doing Fucking Up, Kick Out the Jams. Some of the I've Got a Feeling, like you mentioned.
I had Baba and I had Kick Out the Jams, but
for me it's a toss up between Baba and Sonic, but I'm more towards Sonic.
Yes. I will take Sonic over Baba this time for sure.
Okay. So that's how we're ending this set.
Randy, no Jeremy, no Daughter.
Daughter was on my do not playlist. Jeremy I had spliced in there in some spots. I did.
Jeremy had I think two different spots. Daughter was a deep reserve.
Yeah, you would have had to do some real convincing for me to get Daughter in there. I was not.
Daughter was going to be one of those songs if we had both come to a point where we were totally stumped, which I was confident was not going to happen.
It came close when we were. We had so many different options around that time period that we would have used Daughter though. So that's.
Even around like 6, 7, we started to get a little. There were so many options. There were two.
Yeah.
It was a lot. So when we started to get a little stumped early on, I'm like, oh my God, I can't pull out Daughter this early.
Yeah,
I can't do it. I'm sorry. We got to think of something here.
But we did it without him, and no Porch either. I think that helped the set fill out. I think because you get locked into stuff that's in certain spots. Porch, Better Man, Rearview Mirror, Alive, Even Flow. They're usually locked into spots, and taking Porch out of the equation as one of those locked in spots helps free up other spots where Better Man could have gone.
Right, and things like Wash, Mind Your Manners, Severed Hand, In Hiding, Grievance, Alone. We both got in, I think, songs that we were really dead set on with no problem.
I think so.
And no problem finding spots for them either.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. It was complicated to get to that spot in within some of this conversation, but yeah.
It's tough on the spot singing 3 different songs to yourself, saying blah, blah, blah,
trying to think about how it flows when you're not actually listening to how it flows. That's why Dave's such a hard job.
I hope people realize how this comes off now is we did not talk about this at all. This was the first time we talked about it was when we hit record, an hour and a half ago. We had the idea, but that was it.
That was it.
All right, so let's do a set rundown.
The full wish list set list recap. This is what we came up with today. Wash, Lowlight, Corduroy. Hail, Hail, Mind Your Manners, Severed Hand. In Hiding, I Am Mine, Nothing Man, Even Flow, Glorified G, Red Mosquito, Grievance, Immortality, Unthought Known. Save You, Alone, Once, Better Man, and that's your first set. First encore. Footsteps, WMA, Present Tense, Do the Evolution, State of Love and Trust, Black, Go, and we made the change to Rearview Mirror. And the second encore, Smile, Crazy Mary, Breath, Alive, Sonic Reducer, and our one little wild card that we threw in right at the end, Around the Bend.
Man, I could see that show and then die right after. I think that's an amazing
Great show. It's a great show.
Yet it's completely doable. It is totally realistic.
And like I said, we weren't trying to like stuff the ballot with songs that are on our checklist. Again, remember how I said there was only one song that I had never seen before that's in this list?
Right.
It ended with 2 songs.
Right.
That's it. Glorified G and Around the Bend. So okay, so maybe at the end there, I gave myself, this is what I did. I made myself finish both No Code and Versus.
There you go.
So if you see this show, that's how it would have went down. And you know what? Both of our like white whales were off of this. There was no Brainerd J. There was no Big Wave.
There's no, this wasn't fixed at all.
No,
obviously.
And there are songs like State of Love and Trust that I wasn't planning on using it until
State of Love and Trust does not have to be there, but it works where it is.
Yeah, until we were talking about like kind of what worked after Do the Evolution, mentioning a couple songs that it made sense.
Exactly.
We've kind of been eat, breathing, sleeping this, and this is just it's pretty easy to figure this stuff out after a while.
Yeah.
If you've been to so many shows and you listen to so many shows, there are methods. There is a math to this, so to speak. So we're going to post this on Facebook if you don't want to rewind. We're going to post it to Facebook and gauge everybody's reaction. That'll be like a day or two after this airs. Maybe you can put together a set list actually and like write it the same way that Eddie writes it, like
yeah,
with his lingo. If we would have done Y go, it would have been Y, the letter Y go.
The Y go. Yep. Well, I think we both write in all capitals, so I got that.
Oh, for go, he actually writes don't go.
He writes don't go.
Yep.
That's correct.
So, all right, let's close out the show with another public service announcement brought to you by your good friends at this podcast. Live on Four Legs is happy to present a weekly podcast dedicated to the Pearl Jam live experience. While we try to get ourselves to as many shows as possible, we have only attended a small fraction compared to the entire live history. That's why we need your help. We want to get to know who you are. If there's a live show that you've attended that you'd like to see us cover in our program, please send us an email at liveonfourlegs, that's the number 4, liveonfourlegspodcast@gmail.com. We want to know your entire live experience. Did you once miss a flight? Get lucky in the 10 Club lottery? Catch a white whale? Your stories will help us mold this into the best podcast it could possibly be. You're already getting to know who we are. Now it's time for us to know who you are. Again, as the little message says, if you want to, and we have a lot of time, no episode next week. We're going to give the holiday break to us, but we'll have, on New Year's Day, we'll have a special Patreon episode to anybody that wants to donate to our Patreon account. Just go on to patreon.com and search for Live on Four Legs, and you'll get a special exclusive content. It won't be a long episode at all, and we won't be begging for stories from it, but we will cover something and promise it'll be good, or else it wouldn't be exclusive. So if this is going to be an important week, as I do a lot of research on my time away, going to my in-laws, just gonna research a lot of songs between 96 and 2006. So if you have any suggestions throughout that time period especially, please send us a Dear John.
This is the time to do it. This is the time to get those suggestions in for shows.
And we're going to get in some patron-only shows. Well, not patron-only, but for the people that donated to Patreon, they're going to be doing a show with us. I believe I'm going to try to get one in the second week of January if we can. And if I don't want to ruin that one because I don't want to tell you something that's not going to be true, so I'm not going to say anything, but that will be within the time window that we were talking about.
Okay.
And then after that, I have one that I really want to do from the Riot Act tour. So, yeah, what we do know is when we do come back for good with the official episode 17, we're coming back with the first MSG show ever for Pearl Jam in 1998. That would be night one of that two-night turn, if so to speak. And then we'll get to night two, which was a remarkably amazing night. We'll get to that in February as we do our MSG year-round on MSG, which is just going to be awesome. And once we get through the first couple, I've been to the last 5 MSG shows. You've been to the last bunch of them too. So
those are going to bring back definitely a lot of memories for us. Those are going to be fun to remember and go through.
Absolutely. So again, now is the time to get in touch with us and give us some ideas, recommendations, and we are open. All ears are open. Especially right now, it's 96 to 2006. That's the time frame that we're really pegging hard on. So, but open to pretty much anything. If you want to pitch another Vitalogy, another Versus one, we're open to it. And then at some point, we're going to have to go back and we're going to have to do stuff from the 10 days, even though those aren't going to be long episodes. We're just going to have to do them anyway. So, that's pretty much that. And right now, I just want to say thank you for listening to the show for all this time. And if you're just discovering it, we have lots of stuff, lots of content for you to go back and listen to. And we're really happy that it took off the way it did. I think people like us. Actually, I have no idea if people like it. People,
I don't know.
I don't. I think people are enjoying it. We are looking at the numbers, and we this week surpassed 5,000 total listens for 14 or 15 episodes.
Cool.
So that's a number I didn't think that we'd achieve, but we're averaging a good amount of number of listens per episode. That's not something you guys care about, but just this is how far we've come. So we thank you guys for listening, and this is all about you as much as it is about Pearl Jam. So all right, that's it for the show. We wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas and a happy Boxing Day to all. I miss you already. I miss you always. For 2018, sayonara sucker. We'll see you next year.
Bye.